Okay, here's just a unimpressive game, just 2-6 downs playing in the tournament. Neither one's particularly special, although white is a bit well known. Jon Boley from Seattle Club, he's playing white. And he has a very nice style. He's a very calm, intelligent player. And I'm still mad at him because the last time I played him, he beat me by 3 points, and I played a terrible game. Funny how you never get over those. Okay. Black plays the low Chinese. There's a lot of low Chinese at the Congress. It seemed to be the favorite opening. As white in this opening, I hate being pinched. It just really bothers me. Mr. Yang says, no problem, just play here. It's not smaller in any way, just a different style. So I play this move because I don't like the pinch. Black pinches. Now white's intent is to play P5. But as he said, it just kind of magically appeared at 06. He certainly intended to play A, it just landed at 06. And we kind of noticed it there. And as I was talking with him later, he says, well, so maybe it was 2 points loss. Okay. White's job to treat the marked stones lightly. That means we're not going to create this big old healthy group out of them, but just to treat them lightly. We need to notice that black, in a sense, has not played towards white because white had never had any intention of playing in this direction. So the mark stones feel very comfortable continuing to be light. Does that make sense? Now it's a little strange because we can also say he just took our base away, but that group wasn't looking for a base. It was looking to be played lightly. We could say it directly affected them. Yeah, but not in a way that they care about since they didn't want to be there to begin with, to be on that bottom area. White's response can be at A, B, or C, but clearly on this board, B fits a lot better. Now it's time to help the marked stones, or they're not marked at the moment, but the white stones. Black sees the cut at A, and it's a ladder. I'll play it out for those of you who... There's the ladder. So black plays the ladder break. Since it's a ladder break, and we're planning on leaving the black stones alone, maybe playing them lightly would be better. That was white's idea later, and it sounds reasonable. Black gets the ladder. If white A, that shows a commitment to the stones. White plays away, saying, please take them. They're light. We don't want black playing A, right? Very powerful move. Double sente move. But this is, black can't ignore this. The right just collapses. It's very bad on the right. Now we need to play. Okay, so when I was watching the game as this was happening, And I'm looking at the black stones going, wow, area 1's big, area 2's big, area 3 looks massive. So far, white has nothing. But, you know, area 1, he actually said he's looking for an opportunity to just run out. I mean, clearly this is not black's area yet. In area 2, white can play A, so that's not that big. Area 3 is full of knight's moves, gaps, so we're going to push that down all to the second line. So really, black's not very big at all. White's the one with a lot of potential and groups to chase. I thought this F14 looked so pretty on this board. The left starts developing so naturally. Here's our next point of choice. I can either defend the A group or hit at B. B is a vital point, removing black's eyes. That also makes the corner very big, makes the corner secure, really. And I was talking with them after, and neither of us could decide which is best, but we both had this overwhelming desire to play B. B is just so powerful. It's just, if we should defend at A, then we should, but I don't know which is best. But this is, emotionally speaking, this point here is just very meaningful. But now we get pressed. So right away, white has a move that's a little bit hard to find. We need to get the A stones out, hopefully using B and perhaps using our white center. We'd like to get ahead of black, but that might not be possible, but at least catch up with black. So even though this move is somewhat easy to predict, still, when you're in the middle of the game, it's a hard move to find. I thought it was a great move. Here's the next point of choice. Black has to think, is my A group strong enough to ignore? On the surface, we think, for sure, thickness takes care of itself. But that's a lot of white stones on the right. If we were to say, look at it, we pretend there's a big wall here, well, all of a sudden that black thickness looks much less impressive. But actually, that's kind of what it looks like. There's a lot of white stones there. So black plays away, but one wonders what's best here. It looks like just black's falling behind is what it looks like. Okay, so we're going to pinch this stone, and one would assume it's at some point going to come out to A. So as Kerwin calls them, there's an invisible stone at A, so we don't want to get too close to those two black stones. So we play the 2 space rather than the 1 space. That makes sense, right? We see how that's called the invisible stone at A. Okay, good. Okay. White wants to cap these stones. Just before the cap, we get a little power play in that helps us jump. Now black's got to find a way of helping both these groups. I thought this was a good find. White starts the attack. White doesn't mind doing all this in Gote, because this A area is developing so naturally that, yeah, we played Gote, but it's just wonderful Gote. And next, I would have lost the game. White's move, as soon as I saw it, I go, oh, I would have missed that. I saw that move and I go, oh, of course. Only here. I would have missed it though. It's a beautiful move. Takes black from being alive to not being alive. That's a huge difference. Yeah, that's big. Really made me smile when I saw his move. Okay, so this black group is not alive. But there's lots of running potential, so there's no rush. We'll just start chasing the other one. Well, the A group cannot face the future, cannot face any sort of fighting. It really can't do anything. So it has to live. Instead I should say black's top group, the black center group. It can't do much running or fighting if it's always concerned about the A group. So the A group defends itself. Now the black group can do anything it wants and not be concerned about the other group. That bottom left just continues to develop naturally. Black comes up with a great move. That's right. Thanks. Black does a little bit of running. Black takes care of business and cuts. Repeat. And black goes for the life. At this point, white, of course, very much wants to play this. Really try to mess with black's shape. And I think I would have done it if I was playing the game. But white said, you know, I'm really concerned about this. Black's getting out to these areas that I'm not all that strong. I'm thinking, you gotta be kidding. You got a little Pinocchio over there and everything. So I thought this really showed his wisdom and my lack of strength. I tend to go for too much and leave some weaknesses. He just played simple, knowing that he's creating points as he does it, and black will be living in Gote anyway. So I thought that was really showed some wisdom. Black's alive now, but notice the cuts at K8 and H8. Those are important cuts. So white takes and then walks away. So white, this makes white much stronger. And at this point, this is when I walked away. I reviewed it with white later, and I don't know the precise timing. I believe now is the time he reduced to the right. We'll just go through this sequence. So we reduced black down to the second line in Sente, and then hit the big point over here. I did ask him, though, I guess you've probably read it by now. Here, I said, weren't you tempted to play at A? Because that's what would have been going through my mind at the time. Man, I don't want black living in my area. Am I supposed to be able to kill black if he comes in? If I just play A, I know it's cash and I don't have to worry about it. I'd have to be having these things going on in my mind. So I asked him, were you tempted to play A? He says, well, we're in endgame, and endgame's the time to be moving forward, not be passive. I thought that was an absolutely perfect answer. Let black come in, let him worry about it, treat it as a small corner, thus endgame, and play out the big endgame points. Okay, good. Again, I encourage you to download that, go through it. So we have time to look at the two other positions that came up. Let me load one. See you there. So these are two positions that came up on just in the open section of the tournament. Just some openings I watched that presented positions that were exciting. A normal Joseki. Notice in this position, black has no serious thought of attacking white, so he plays the shape move rather than the aggressive B2 move. So natural. Here's the regular Joseki. White never plays this way because white's actually kind of thick there already. This would be a real waste, over-concentration with stones, too close to thickness. So Joseki is to play on this side, and looking a very simple way. This is the basic Joseki. White plays this way because if white doesn't, eventually something in here is going to be a headache. It's basically a debt you have. So when you fight in this area, when we get to this area in fighting or whatever, we're going to have to back off and play a defensive move. So playing out gets us prepared for that crescendo that's going to come. Okay, so this is the basic idea. Black sacrifices the stone to get the bottom, but in the game he sacrifices 2 instead of 1 to get a bigger bottom area. So there go the 2, but now we get a bigger push, right? Pretty big bottom area there. So here we have the question, how to deal with this moil. I took this problem to a dozen 5, 6, and 7 dans and got a bunch of different answers. The player played this way. First we'll look at the... this seems too deep. We can attack right away. White seems very enclosed. Responding once is fine. Now black can play A, B, or C, all of which seem to really bother white. All of these moves are using the overall position. Black's wall, black's strong corner, and they're also playing on the outside where the game is happening rather than on the bottom where the game isn't going to be happening. But black played here. The thing it really reminded me of, I used to take 7-dan moves to Jujo saying, I don't understand these. Clearly I know nothing about Go because I would never dream of playing these moves. So I showed him the 7-dan moves and I showed him mine. He says, oh, there's a mistake. Yours are much better. So what makes them 7-dan then? He says, oh, they just fight real good. And then I asked him, how come they play so bad? I don't understand how they don't know these things. He said, they never took lessons. So from him, he's seeing these very experienced 7-dans that are good in fighting, but they start from a bad position. So I guess I'm showing how 6 and 7-dans really aren't very strong as amateurs. And this is an example, at least in my mind. Again, a pro can walk in the room and go, what are you talking about? N4 is the only move. Okay, could be, but it sure seems to be in the wrong spot. We looked at this one at length, so many variations of this one, a whole bunch of them, they all seem better. Anyway, so it's an interesting position, and one wonders, I think as white, just here. Now if black attempts to take it all cash, too many gaps there. Matter of fact, we can even play this. And I still think there's some room for life on the bottom. Because things like this are Sente, and things like this look like Sente. There's just seems to be room for life in here. And even if there isn't, it's hard to say that white's behind. Okay, instead of bringing the next position, let's just use this board. I just have to remember where it goes. It's this way, I think. Right. Okay. It seems to me R8's very questionable, but that's where they played it. At this point, both black and white start throwing their stones down very quickly. And just drew this wall real fast. So you can see right away why I would think of this as an outstanding position. Like, wow, you don't see that every day. Big old wall. I have to make sure I play this out right. We play out the corner. I won't go into much detail about it. White plays this just to get this turn in Sente at T14. We're just going through this real quick. Okay, here we go. Atari. Capture. Valid call threat. Atari. Okay, so from here, this is kind of like the starting point of what I want to talk about. We're assuming this ko is going to result in white's capture. Black will win the ko because it's multi-stage for white and not multi-stage for black. That is to say, if white ever fills, he dies. Black can fill, white can't fill. So, how does white use this amazing wall? This is 10, 11, 12 lines high, if not 14 lines high of a wall. That's a pretty big wall in Sente. So you guys give me some ideas where for white? D, 10. I would say that's, if I asked a dozen players, most of them said A. Anyone else? F, 16. Anyone else? J, 4. You probably mean J5. Yeah. K, 4. And D5. Oh, D5 is interesting. Okay, I'm also going to mark D7. Okay. So let's start with the main question. Is the G stone a bother to white? What do we think? So people were thinking no, we have a yes. Not enough to do something about. So let's just check it out. If black goes in any of these directions, pretty easy for white. So the only threat is to get over to the left as fast as possible, but is just, will always have time to fix the cut, and black is far weaker than white. So very difficult to say that black's going to cause any problem with the G-stone. Is there some IG there? Well, yeah, there is some, but it just seems way too early to be concerned about the G-stone. And we all seem to feel the same way. Okay, next question. Assuming A, can black live comfortably on top? Now, we're not saying in the corner, area 1. We're not saying in area 1. White's very happy to give black small life in the corner and take everything else. So can black easily live on the outside, or rather in the main area? Now, Clausus says yes. Clausus, where is your first move as black B? F17. Let's assume something natural here. Let's do it. There's so many ways. Let's do it this way. And then out. True. Can we force him in the corner here? If we force him in the corner, then we accomplished it. Okay, so can that be done? If black says no, I'm going to head out. Looks like difficult life. So instead of us trying to solve it here, the consensus I got from asking all the dons there, we all decided it was going to not be easy life. It was going to be difficult life. And if it's difficult, then we should allow black that opportunity to do something difficult. I don't know. So if it's difficult, if it's easy, then I would suggest here for white. Now it's beyond difficult. White's taking actual cash. We're going to get a great deal in the center and on the top. If it is going to be difficult, then A, and let black do the difficult thing. And I don't know the answer to that. In the game, white played here. And to me, this is inexcusably close to the wall. But my main point, one of the points in showing this, is for you guys to realize how weak 6 and 7 dons are. And we all know the statistic that a 7 don makes a mistake on average every 7 moves. Okay, but how bad a mistake, we don't know. But I can tell you, after looking at a lot and tons of 7 don games over the years, 7 dons are not that strong. A lot of them have terrible openings. I mean, your opening is better than theirs. I mean, terrible openings. They just fight real good. They know how to make it very complex and how to deal with those things. My answer to the position, I don't have one. So I would fall back on my preference, which is A. It's like, to me, it's like, of course I'm going to play here. I wouldn't think of playing anywhere else. But that's different from right and wrong. That's just, in my mind, it goes here. Then whatever black does, we're in charge of all these next moves, right? We're the ones who can take charge of the next decisions. But I need a professional. And I've brought positions like this to professionals many times, and I get different answers from different professionals. Some say, oh, I used to keep a file of the positions that pros disagree on, and there's some profound disagreements, like One will say only move, and the next pro says, oh, this is a mistake. It's like, what? How can, you're both 9-dot, how can you say that? So it's very interesting. Okay, well those are the two positions I thought, in the game, a little bit more interesting here. Here, black went here, white comes in. Let's take a quick look at the rest of this. We do have plans on attacking white, so we come down to the aggressive one. White just wants to live locally. Now for black, before he plays the defensive move, he's concerned that playing anywhere now inside white's moil is going to be difficult, and he owes a move at A. So just before he fixes, he makes this exchange and then fixes. White comes in. Now it's black who's in charge of attacking the white stone. That is to say, he already has a black move inside the white area. So that was an interesting exchange. Again, this is where I walked away. Would he prefer D? 14v1 closer. That's a good point. That's a good point. This could be too costly. I don't know. That's worth a lot of discussion. Okay. To here. So at this point I walked away, and I didn't see black's next move, but I brought this position to a number of players, trying to think of what black's next move would be. Seems to me that any probe, there's really no chance at this point for these to produce much. I think even an attempt at a ko in the corner is going to be difficult, because we can just take eyes away. So, well, there's a lot to think about. But as far as black's next move, seems to me we want to use A, pressure B, and get a handle on area 1. To me, those are the three issues. So it seems to me to play here. And again, I don't know. I've looked at all the white hanes. None of them look good. Seems that white running straight home is the idea. It's Sente. And white now probably fixes the Aji. Anyway, that was, I just brought this position to them, and here's some of the stuff we thought. Okay, well that's it. Those are the things I brought back from the Congress. Hopefully they were entertaining. I particularly hope you'll review that first one with the 13-year-old pro. I really thought it showed the simple good thinking that we all want to mimic. Okay. Well, I don't know if I'll be at the Congress next year. The 2 times I've gone, in both cases I've had students pay my way. That is, like an ex-student goes, oh, let me buy a 10-lesson package so that you can go to the Congress. You know, real nice stuff like that. And then they take lessons at the Congress so to pay for room and board and stuff like that. Yeah, very, very nice of them. So I don't know if that will happen again. Mimic, emulate. Emulate was actually the word I was looking for. I just couldn't find it, so I went with mimic. Okay, thanks everybody for coming. This takes us down to 0 lessons in the fund. Feel free to donate if you want us to continue. So we may or may not see you later in the lecture. Bye, Chi-Dot. See you all later. Bye.